我が孫ながら恐ろしいやつよ。さすがはアブドゥルじゃ。この少年はわしの王子。
So despite the dramatic title, I honestly do respect NetherRealm for trying something new. Innovation can often lead to great ideas. However, much like the wager system in the Injustice series, most players really don't like the new Breakaway mechanic. In fact, many of them downright hate it. It's often cited as one of the main problems in Mortal Kombat 11, and in my honest opinion, Breakaway might be the most hated core mechanic in Mortal Kombat history. And that's a very strong statement, so allow me to explain why. So the first big issue with Breakaway in Mortal Kombat 11 is that it favors certain characters over others, which the original Combo Breaker did not do. No matter who you played, it behaved exactly the same. However, in Mortal Kombat 11, certain characters like Showstopper Johnny Cage don't care if you have Breakaway because he can keep you grounded the entire time. And since Breakaway only works in the air, this means I can do a full combo and your meter is pretty much useless here. So right there, that was a guaranteed 28% once I got that first hit. Your defensive bar did not matter. Now of course, Johnny Cage can get more damage if he does launch you, so if you don't have the defensive bar, that can be a great option for him. But my point is, Showstopper Johnny Cage can always combo you, and Breakaway is pretty much useless. And even Johnny Cage's crushing blows keep the opponent standing. His sunglasses one, or the photo one, which you're never gonna land this one, but if you do, it also keeps the opponent standing. So once again, their Breakaway just doesn't work against this character. And the same is also true for upgraded Jackie. And don't get me wrong, everybody hates upgraded Jackie at this point in time. She's really good and does deserve some nerfs here and there, but the point is, she can also keep the opponent standing for her entire combo if she wants to. And look at that, we're getting 26% and we're at +6, so whatever Jackie does next, you have to block it. And then if Jackie wants to spend 2 bars, she gets even more damage, and once again, you can't escape it. So that was 34%, which means if you're already 2/3 dead and Jackie touches you, you're just guaranteed to die. The Breakaway cannot save you here. And situations like that are why characters that kept you standing were the strongest characters in the game before they added the armor breaks. And don't worry, I'll talk about the armor breaks in just a bit. But for now, just know a lot of the best characters, or at least their best variation, was the one that kept you standing and just took Breakaway off the table. The combo breaker does not work unless you leave the ground. And then on the flip side, any character that had to launch you to get damage was automatically weaker. So characters like Scarlet, before she had variation 3, she could only do this if she wanted to get some good damage. And of course, you can break away immediately here. And that meant if you were playing Scarlet, you pretty much always had to end your combo with an uppercut, because you knew the opponent was going to break away as soon as possible. And look at that, only 20%, not even actually, so barely even worth the effort. And what's even worse is if you went for your regular combo extender, her 2-1-2, you're now stuck in recovery and the opponent gets a full combo punish on you. And the situation is the exact same in the corner. This move is great for starting off combos, but once again, you either have to uppercut or risk leaving yourself completely open. And that's just one more reason Scarlet was considered low tier at a high level of play. And don't get me wrong, she has a lot of flaws, but that's just one more. Breakaway is super strong against certain characters, especially Scarlet. Put simply, any character or variation that had to launch you in order to get damage was automatically weaker, especially if they didn't have any crazy mix-ups to open you up. So for example, if I'm playing Sindel and you use Breakaway, you can now try to run away, zone me, any number of things until your meter builds back, and then the second I touch you, you can just do Breakaway again. In fact, if I'm fighting you and you use Breakaway and then you win the round, chances are your meter will be refilled by the time the second round begins. Which means the moment I land a good combo again, you can just Breakaway immediately after. So that's the first big reason why Breakaway is so despised compared to Combo Breaker. It immediately favors certain characters over others, whereas the original Combo Breaker was more universal and fair. And this breakaway bias even extended the crushing blows as well. So for example, I love playing Frost, and people always wondered that even on counter hit why I didn't go for this move right here. And the reason why was, even if I launched the opponent, they could break away and I didn't even have time to dash forward and go for an uppercut. In fact, I still don't. So as a Frost player, even if I get that really awesome whiff punish, it's not worth my trouble to even go for it if you have the meter. I'm just going to freeze you and get my damage that way instead. And thankfully Frost has that option, right? I can just not go for the crushing blow, but it just sucks how certain crushing blows are pretty much useless thanks to Breakaway. And in fact, even this crushing blow with the drills, this one takes a very long time to get. So this one, you have to enhance this move 3 different times. So already that's a lot of effort. And then when you finally do land it, once again, you launch the opponent. And if they break away, it is really, really tough to close that gap in time for an uppercut. So once again, the Breakaway mechanic makes crushing blows like this almost useless from mid-screen. And that was especially true before they added the armor break moves. And thankfully, Frost doesn't have a very bad one at all. They can actually catch the opponent fairly often, but even in situations like this, I'm gonna be honest, it's really tough to land. Like, it's still not going to work. If they break away immediately, I'm pretty sure I can't get this move to work, like whatsoever. Yeah, it's not going to happen outside of the corner. So as a Frost player, I still never go for that crushing blow. I just freeze the opponent instead. And Frost is not bad, don't get me wrong. She's a very fun and viable character. She's actually more fun now than she's ever been in this game. But even so, it still sucks how one of the new mechanics like crushing blow is almost invalidated for Frost because the Breakaway is so good against it. And sadly, this tale of bias and prejudice does not have a happy ending, because finally NetherRealm did give armor break moves to every character in the game, which was originally only possible by spawn. And real quick, I just want to say answer the phone because I freaking called it. I told you all that every character was going to get an armor break just like spawn, and lo and behold, I was correct. However, once again, here's the problem. The game is still biased, or maybe it's better to say NetherRealm is biased here, because some characters like Shao Kahn have an armor break in every variation, so it's not a problem. Don't get me wrong, Variation 1 definitely has the toughest time beating Breakaway, but it still has an armor break option, and the other 2 variations have more than one. So whenever you play Shao Kahn, even though he is a low tier character overall, he has some god tier answers to Breakaway, and that's just awesome. At least he's good at something. And as you saw earlier, certain characters like Frost have a universal armor break that's available in every variation. However, unfortunately, just like the move it sets out to counter, the armor break ability is also extremely biased based on your character. Once again, a great example is actually Jackie Briggs, and I understand this character is good, and some people have said in the comments that good characters got bad armor breaks and that was a way to balance them out, and if that's true, I just want to say that's really lazy. If a character is too strong, then the developers have an obligation to listen to the players and understand why that character is too strong and fix that issue. Instead of taking a shortcut and saying, oh, this new mechanic that a lot of characters have access to, yeah, the top tier characters don't have a good one. To me, that's extremely lazy. Just nerf what players are actually complaining about. Don't make a new mechanic and then make it that bad for the character, because that's just unfair and biased once again. And on top of being biased, it's also not true, because some top tier characters also have some of the best armor breaks in the game, whereas poor Jackie's can only be done in the air, and it's only available in Variation 2. So on top of being the least popular variation, you also have to do it instantly off of the ground, and that's very tough to do. Trust me, it's not easy. You literally have to have frame perfect timing if you want to make this armor break work, and even then it's only good after crushing blows. It's never going to work after her grease kick or anything like that. Or in other words, Jackie's best combo starter is essentially useless because her armor break is essentially useless and only available in her least popular variation, which once again is lazy and also doesn't fix the problem, because everyone's complaining about Variation 3, and Variation 3 wasn't nerfed one bit. Upgraded is still really good despite this armor break being bad. And to make things even worse, the armor breaks don't even function universally. For some characters, they extend combos just like Spawn, but even then some require meter and some don't, so why are they different? And then you have certain characters that only get a crushing blow, which at least that's something, but it's only good once a match. After that, you might as well just go for the uppercut with some characters because it does more damage anyway. So not only is the armor break biased because some characters have it in every variation while other characters only have it in 1 or 2, but on top of that, the armor break effect is also different. You either get a crushing blow or a combo extender, or you get absolutely nothing sometimes. You just break the armor and that's it. And then sometimes the variation you have the armor break in doesn't even make sense. So for example, Nightwolf, this is his armor breaking move, the command grab, which on paper it makes sense because it's a command grab. Grabs do break armor in a lot of video games, so not a terrible choice. However, here's the problem. Nightwolf does not have any special moves that launch the opponent in this variation, which means the only way you're ever going to use this armor breaking move is with the back 2, which is very, very unsafe on block and very risky, or if you land one of his crushing blows. That's the only way you're ever going to use this armor breaking move, and it's only available in this variation. I guess what has me so frustrated is that NetherRealm could have avoided all of this by giving a character a universal armor break that's in every variation and also have it all behave the same. It just relaunches the opponent for a longer combo. That's a great trade-off. But instead, we have a very biased mechanic once again. It's only available in certain variations for some characters, and then for certain characters, the armor break itself is terrible. It's either a bad reward for landing the armor break, or it's almost impossible to land anyway. And unfortunately, as a result, Breakaway remains one of the most hated mechanics in Mortal Kombat history. Armor break could have fixed it, but unfortunately it turned out to be a band-aid over a severed leg. The host is still bleeding and the problem still exists. It hasn't been solved. So hopefully after listening to all of that, even if you don't play Mortal Kombat 11, you understand why this Breakaway mechanic is so frustrating for most players. As I mentioned at the very start of the video, I do think it was brave for NetherRealm to try something new, but I think the lesson learned here is that the OG combo breaker will always be king, and if this game does get a sequel, please bring back combo breaker. It's just all around better. But please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you love or hate Breakaway? And then while you're down there, please leave a like if you enjoyed the video. It really does help my channel out a ton. And finally, why not keep that combo going by suplexing that subscribe button? That way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.